What's good, y'all? This is Midasprint, and we are back for another episode, episode 5. And this is more of a segue into, mid-season. The season's almost over, the Journey ratio, but I just want to really get y'all to know me, like for real. Like I'm a teacher, I'm a first year teacher, and life happens. A lot of times people don't understand that we human. Like outside of being a teacher, I have a podcast. I'm a real estate investor. I like to network. I go to networking events. I'm really, just well-rounded person. Just willing to do what it takes. I have a very big heart, and today I've never faked it. I've always been authentic, a very positive person, but today it's one of these days where I just want to vent and get some things off my chest. Like being a teacher is very hard, especially the first year, because just a lot of things I expect to happen. For instance, this is something that's very hard for me to talk about. My grandpa passed away like last week. I would say a few days ago. And just imagine having to go to a parent teacher conference, and the week itself just has been tough because Christmas break is coming, got to get grades in, got to make sure kids have final exam. Everybody's antsy and everybody has their own issues going on, and here am I, giving it my best every day, coming to work at 5:45 like I'm the principal or something, and I catch the most un unexpected um criticism, not even in a good way, not even constructive criticism, just full out fledged, you're a bad teacher. This is a poor excuse for a teacher. Doesn't even know that it's my first year. I only been on the job for like 5 months. But if you want to keep count and truly keep be more specific, it's really like 3 months or 2 months. Really, if you want to count the breaks, count how long I've been really doing it. Because being a substitute for the years I was being a substitute, it wasn't really hard. You didn't have to really deal with kids, like as far as putting in grades, as far as teaching and dealing with them. But man, it's just tough. But when I look back, I'm like, this is what I was built for. I was built for this. I was built not just to be a teacher, but to constantly be a positive figure. And it was just one parent, right? It was just one student out of the students I can't even count on my finger that actually look up to me. The children that actually are glad that I come in, to work every day. You know what I'm saying? That value me at the highest standard that anybody can value somebody. So, you know, I had my moment with, a fellow teacher of mine who's a first year as well. We came on the same time and we have a very close relationship. And I'm definitely going to bring her on as well so we can go ahead and talk about our experience. But man, it's like you just never know what somebody's going through. You just never know. And I think teachers do have it the hardest. And we, even the days we don't want to come to school, we come to school. Um, I'm so passionate about my job that I came to school when I think I had COVID or I didn't or I had the flu. I think I had like the minor symptoms and I still came and I still, rocked out. I was a boss in the classroom. I did what I was supposed to do. I did what I had to do. Nobody was hurt. Everybody was safe. In fact, yesterday I broke up a fight. Not my job. My job is to teach. But instead, I'm playing security guard, breaking up fights for a student, and actually was able to get one of my students who didn't even initiate the fight. In fact, took a couple of punches, and I was able to talk to the administrator, like, well, this child, even though she was trying to defend herself, I didn't give her a chance to defend herself. I instantly broke up the fight. I instantly um diffused the whole situation. So why are you suspending her? I had to speak up for her. I took up for her because not only she was one of my students, but every student I care about. And if I think they didn't do any wrong, then they didn't do any wrong because I was there. I protected them and made sure they didn't get into no fight. See, and that's one thing I want to point out too. The parent that criticized me doesn't even know me. You don't even know me, man. Like, you have to truly know a teacher before you just sit here and talk about them. I'm literally doing more than just being a teacher. Like, yes, I'm not even being paid to break up fights. I'm literally keeping these children safe, and it's not my job to be hall monitor. It's not my job. It's not my job to take a lick for another kid, even though I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I'm willing to. You know what I'm saying? As long as no child gets hurt. And I don't think, I think people that come in just to criticize teachers that don't know those teachers, only listen to their child, it's not adult like. It's not truly being an adult, because an adult, you look at both sides. You also want to get to know the teacher themselves, and figure out what are they really doing. Like, the kids love me. Mr. Powell is loved by a lot of kids. Mr. Powell is not just a teacher, a community figure, an honorary coach, just a well-rounded. They expect to see me at football games, at basketball games. I was expected to be seen, right? Even by the coaches. So when I look at my value versus somebody who doesn't really know me, you know, now that I got all that out and got the vent, I'm boss. I could be honest with myself that I'm like, this guy don't even know me. So the criticism or the insults, I have to like just get over it now, because I have so many kids that value me. And one child that I literally, took out of my class maybe 3 times out of this whole semester. One was to congratulate her for, her good work in the classroom. She got through the first 9 weeks, because I know it's hard as being a freshman. Um, I even got insulted for that, for doing just that, just for showing compassion to a student and bringing them outside just to tell them how good they were doing and just keep it up. Like, it's almost gonna be over. The year's gonna go by fast. I got whiplash for that. That's crazy. Now I'm like, where is the world coming to? People don't want teachers to be compassionate. I'm not doing my job. I'm not doing the right thing for like congratulating a child for being their best self, for doing what they're supposed to do to get a good grade. Wow. That is crazy. That is crazy. Now I'm like, well, she's out of my class now. I mean, I gave her a chance to like make sure she can like stay in the class if she wanted to, but hey, they told me that, oh, well, this teacher is a poor example of being a teacher because he's allowing her to see if she want to stay in the class or not. I said, well, she shouldn't. She shouldn't. If you feel that way, she should go to another class, and she's probably gonna regret it. I don't know, but that's her fault. That's her way of dealing with things, and I'm gonna go about my life and become a great teacher, not just a first year teacher, not just a second year teacher, not just a teacher that's just moving along and letting kids go along their way. So I mean, I can care less at this point. Not saying I don't care about the child. I cared about the child well enough to like sit there with them and try to figure out, what they're going through, and just really have a conference with them, just to like really get to know why they're upset. You know what I'm saying? So, because obviously these are the reasons when we just push off a kid's emotions and what they go through. These are the reasons these kids commit suicide. These are the reason these kids even start to have these weird whiplashes and start to act out so much. So I don't even, I had my wits about it, but now I'm like moving on. But anyways, we segue. You see, I got the Midas print logo. You know what I'm saying, the thumb. Um, and like I said, it's only gonna get better. But I just wanted to vent with y'all, just to let y'all know, like, I'm totally human. Even though I'm a very positive person and I like to like gain knowledge and share with people. That's why one of my skills is being a teacher. Teaching something I love to do. Man, I'll read a book just to tell you about it. I'll go to events just to tell you about it. I'll learn from somebody who's a master in something just to tell somebody else about it and teach them and teach myself. So, man, that was a mouthful in just 10 minutes. Um, but yeah, now since I got that out the way, we're gonna keep moving. I got a lot of special guests coming up for y'all. Um, I know that y'all have been like waiting for that next story. I'll go ahead and spoil the surprise. I got a couple of people in my network that I've been networking with in real estate. Um, if anybody's interested in real estate investing, I know that I'm interested in real estate investing, but um, the area I'm in is raising capital, raising money, and I'm just getting started. So if you're interested in raising capital, like me, or you just a real estate investor, you want to buy and hold, or you want to flip properties, or you want to do subject twos, or you want to do creative finance, um just DM me. um Golden opportunity, DM me on Instagram, golden opportunity. For anybody in the Houston area, I can link you up with my network of people that I hang around with, that I go meet up with and talk about real estate and connect with people, because that's what I like to do. I like to connect and make other people money and make money with in the middle of everybody else making money. So that's my whole thing. And then I'm taking other angles, cuz with just with being in real estate investing and then doing marketing, as doing the podcast itself, and then building a brand on top of that, I'm into writing, the writing space. So I'm in the writing space, which is still content creation. So all of this stuff is still content creation. Um, as far as like doing a podcast, because you gotta write the script. Um, Doing videos is still content creation. Then you have doing reels and constantly just being a creator in itself. That's what Midas is all about. It's just constantly creating new levels in your life and new ways and new angles in your life to actually continue to be this um beam of light to the world, right? We don't want to ever stop doing that. Whether it's we have to go back to school, we have to continue to stay educated, whether we have to find new friends, whether we just have to move locations. Like, that's just what it is. You have to leave your dent on the universe, whether you have to move or just, redesign your whole lifestyle. And that's what I'm big on. Just redesign your whole lifestyle. Lifestyle redesign. And I say it's because that's what I was inferring when I was writing about Midasprint, and I was coming into this creative flow of like, what is Midasprint? Why did I even come up with this brand? Because it talks about my story and my life and me writing out my story every day. Like, journaling is not just journaling for me. I see it as a collection of writings of autobiography, right? Imagine that. Like, every 6 months you finish a journal all the way until you're like 70 years old or until your deathbed. That is like the greatest autobiography ever written, right? And then you have a library that is set up to where your journals are just placed in its own section, and it's just all about you. See, I came to that conclusion as well with having my own library, because and then having journal collections in there, because I never been to a library that that you actually knew who was the creator of that library, right? Whether it was in honor of whoever it was, like a certain name. Like mine would be in honor of um my brand, Midasprint, which, what I'm saying, I'm not gonna like put my family name, but that is the mindset behind it in creating Midasprint. And everybody is able to have that community within Midasprint because everybody has the ability to create a lifestyle that they desire. Um, whether it's through, other means. But just keep in mind, you have three things that we all have in common, which is time, effort, and energy. And that was the main focus. Now, I just don't always talk about real estate or get into real estate too much because I just like stories. And just keeping that in mind, that those stories are like the focal point to success for anybody. Like if you talk to anybody in real estate, the best way to get information is through the story. The story has symbols, the story have myths and signals and triggers that actually want you to move forward. Like um I don't want to say his name, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyways. Like Grant Cardone's story is constantly reiterated and constantly felt throughout people's life, and it actually motivates them. See, the story is the ultimate motivation for anybody. It has um also been known throughout time that stories were the best way to teach someone something. Teach anybody, right? Parables in the Bible. Um Me as a teacher wanting to be able to catch the kids' eyes, right? Telling my story in order for them to relate to world geography. You have to be able to tell stories that get people interested and it sticks. So that's something that I work on. And that's why I actually started this podcast. Like, man, this podcast has really has become a manifestation of what I've been doing the past 5 years when I didn't really have any money. I was using my phone, or I was doing, self talks in the car, just like constantly going through the motions. And then I didn't know what it would look like when I actually was able to have the money and start this podcast, right? But I got in it. I was in the car at first and I was talking about it, talking about certain topics and telling people what they should do with their life or what I'm doing and how I want you to be motivated to do it, and then eventually tell my story. It just started with nothing, just me driving to work, me using my phone and just trying to like have that grasp on something, just trying to um spill it out to God. Like um I don't know the verse, but I know it's in the book of James. It's faith without works is dead and work without faith is dead. My faith and works were done before I had a podcast, before anybody, knew me and I was putting in money for reels. I was speaking as if I was there already. I was in the car and I was speaking as if people were listening to me speak about certain things, as far as like um as if I was speaking in front of a crowd. Cause I love TED Talks. I want to be on a TED Talk. That's one of my goals, like a juicy, honorable goal. But I want them to bring me on. I don't want to I don't want to just, put in, for a TED Talk, right? I will, but I really want to, I want them to invite me. It's always good when you get an invitation. But like I'm saying, I manifested it and constantly put it into thought. Whatever I conceived and believed, it came to life. Just like when I was like, I want to get in real estate, even though I failed in Airbnb, I still had some sort of cash flow, some sort of real estate, even though I did not own the real estate, run arbitrage, right? it still was something to catapult me and my experience to get to where I wanted to. Whether it was a beautiful experience or it was, just a rugged experience, is documented. I don't know I don't know the name of the podcast that I was starting out at first, but I'm sure I could find it if I look at it. And I still have um DMs of people that I was DMing, showing them my podcast and, hey, give it a listen. Hey, do this, give it a listen. Nobody gave it a listen, right? But I kept trying. Like, I could look back. Matter of fact, if you follow me on Instagram, I would share with you my very first podcast, the people that I was DMing, and I was showing them like, hey, look at my podcast, listen to it, go listen. And nobody listened. But that's fine now because because it's all good. Like, we had to start somewhere. This is why I'm telling you, you gotta start somewhere. It doesn't matter. I would say for anybody, if you don't have the money to afford studio time, and you want to just learn and get better and build your confidence, start with personal development. Look, I think a book costs like $15, right? And all you have is time. Put in the time. Like I always say that, put in the time. Read a book, finish it, finish another one. If you don't like it, we'll get another one. I have books that I bought that I didn't finish. I read like a couple of pages and I was like, never judge a book by its cover, but I did. I thought it was a nice title and I bought it. Shame on me. But you can always send it back and get a refund. But I didn't. So I might just get to that book whenever time comes. But that is just the way it is. That's just the way life is. And I was thinking when, my grandpa passed away, and just knowing how hard it is getting just to finish the semester out because kids are anxious, they're antsy, I don't know what's going on with those kids' lives, once they go home for 2 weeks, right? That is, it's hard. Life is just hard, man. Life has its good moments, life has a bad moment, but we all need that duality in order to move forward to the ultimate goal, which is to flourish in life, which is to have peace, which is to actually have freedom, not just freedom in money, but freedom of thought, freedom of um clarity, freedom of just like negativity, just freedom. But freedom requires knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So that's whenever you come to those times in your life where you like feel like it's just so hard, it's such a strain. Um, just look at it as growing pains. Growing pains. That's all life is about. It's just growing pains. You have to go through suffering, pain. But if you look at pain and suffering as discomfort and that, okay, this is a signal for me to grow, you're gonna do just fine. If anything, you're gonna do way better than you were before. That's how it was for me. I was going through growing pains when I came to Houston because it was just a new experience, so uncomfortable. I felt like I wasn't. I mean, I traveled my whole life as a kid, but it felt like it felt like I never traveled in my life because the reason that it felt that way because I traveled with my mom. I had a sense of security, but now it's like I don't really have that security. I kind of do in a way, but I really don't. It's like now I'm going um out for the first time like like Nemo kind of. That's a good story. Anybody watch Nemo, you can relate to that. Like Nemo, of course Nemo got lost, but it's kind of like that. Like you just have to get lost in where you really want to go in order to get to where you're going. And throughout the whole Nemo movie, it was just a whole experience that what life is all about. Like life is an ocean and we're all just fishes swimming to get to our destination, but who knows, we might not make it. We might get, a situation in our life that feels like a setback, but is really not. Um, I haven't watched the Nemo movie, but I probably am after this because I miss some movies that I used to watch as a kid, and I have been watching a lot of movies, just to like get back to that connection of that childhood, right? Because I deal with a lot of kids and they mention a lot of movies, and I'm like, man, I haven't watched that in a while. Or, you know, people mention things that I just forgot. So, um, man, if there's anything that I've got from listening to myself, is that continue to move forward. There's always a way. You're always going to find a way, even though that your way in finding that way doesn't seem the way you thought it would be. Eventually, it turns out that way. Like my whole experience, and what I'm telling you, like when I started my podcast, I didn't start in the studio. I started in a bathroom, looking at the mirror, listening to myself talk, or just walking around on my cell phone and talking into the speaker, or just in the car, right? Or real estate. I started with Airbnb, hustled, you know, did my calculations wrong, did the numbers wrong, and had to like 10x my amount of effort in working. You know, I did Amazon Flex, DoorDash, Airbnb, substitute teaching. I had like 4 jobs, right? 4 jobs and busted my ass to get that stuff done just so I could survive a year in Airbnb. I can look back on that. And now I'm moving forward again in my journey in combat training. Like I dislocated my shoulder 3 times, but you know what I'm saying? I got whole motion and everything. So I'm going to continue forth in that as well. I'm just going to continue to apply the pressure and see where it takes me, because for me, just like the situation as being a teacher, my first parent teacher conference, it actually boosted me, even though it hurt me dearly, because I mean, I obviously feel like, I want to be a great teacher, right? I want to be a great teacher. I put my heart, sweat, and tears into wanting to be a great teacher, and eventually probably become a principal. Maybe, if it's not in for me or that's something I don't want to do, then of course I might not take that route. But first and foremost, I have a life outside of teaching. Literally. That's why I came to do this podcast. And I'm like telling y'all exactly how my day went. Like, bruh, I, I'm the king right now. This is my podcast. I'm in here and I'm telling y'all exactly what happened. I have control of the message. I have control. I'm the anchor, right? I'm the anchor. I'm confident. I'm giving y'all my confidence and telling y'all it's okay to have a shitty day. It's okay to feel like your life is fucked up, okay? Excuse my profanity, but like that's just we just being honest. Like it's okay to have those days. It's okay to be a fuck up some days. Like even today, I feel like I was a fuck up, but really I wasn't, because when I went back to my class, it was I had more energy than I had before in the morning, because I was gonna finish the day off strong regardless of what that person had to say. Um, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do, even when even when you think nobody's cheering for you. There's some strangers cheering for you. There are. And that's why it's okay to like post content. You never know who's watching. You never know who wants to be involved. You just don't know. But hey, if y'all want to be involved, DM me. Golden opportunity. Get involved with me. Get involved, because it's only going to get better from here. As my life gets better as a teacher, my life gets better as doing podcasts. My life gets better as an entrepreneur overall. My groups, the group of people that I'm around this year is going to change the trajectory of my whole life, because I want to be around big players, big fish. Like I don't want to be in no small pond. I want to be in the ocean where there's action daily. And that's what I mean about changing your lifestyle. You have to go in those circles that make you uncomfortable, where people know more than you and that you're listening. I don't mind that. I like that. Like in the parent teacher conference, I didn't say much of anything. I was like listening. It hurt me dearly because I was like holding my tongue, but I was like, hey, I'm gonna take it as a grain of salt and go about my business. And you should too. Whatever your day is like today, just take it as a grain of salt, be quiet, and just live your life. Peace. Keep it authentic. I hope everybody starts a podcast if they really want to, truly want to start a brand. Um, just do it. Just do it. I mean, it's just the art of the start. If you look at any artist who became a great artist, if you can see all their artwork that led up to their greatness, you'll see, oh man, this is some old elementary shit. He was doing that back then. What? It's not pretty. Like, it, I don't know. I learned a lot from kids, like from kindergarten to 12th grade, that kindergartners do sloppy work. But even my students now, they in ninth grade, man, they learn experience. They do sloppy work. But I can't talk because there was a time where I was like learning myself about the world. And I was like, bruh, I thought I was the best, but my work was sloppy too. We all just do a sloppy job starting out because in school, they don't teach us about starting brands. They don't teach us about starting businesses. They don't teach us about real estate. They don't teach us about finances. So the biggest thing is not to be hard on yourself, but be hard on yourself, right? It makes sense. Like, don't be too hard on yourself, but be logic at least. Like, be hard on yourself, but also be logical and be like, okay, well, we didn't know no better, but let's make sure it don't happen again. That's the recall of it all. Recalling what happened in that experience and just logically processing it. Don't get emotional. But for me, man, that moment I had was emotional. Cause like it was like, man, it's my first year and I already been hard on myself anyways. And then while I'm being hard on myself, my grandpa died. Right. But, the way the world is, the way these people are, nobody thinks far enough to be like, man, how's your day? They didn't ask that. They just care about their child who wasn't in danger, who's actually doing good in my class. They just care about that, but they didn't care that, oh man, Mr. Powell's actually going through something. Mr. Powell actually going through some shit, right? Like I was truly going through something, man. My grandpa's passing away, or well, he did. I'm like, now I gotta go to a funeral. Why, I don't know your situation, but you ain't know mine. Like you didn't come in and ask how my day was going. I didn't ask yours. So all in all, it's just situations in life, man. We just gotta grow. I honestly I tried to avoid that situation of the parent teacher conference, but it was unavoidable anyways. It's like what is that word? It's inevitable. It's inevitable to avoid something like that because when it's your time to grow and it's your time to go, when it's your time to grow and it's your time to go, there's no trying to stall on anything. It's not. It's like a call to action. It's just a call to action. Somebody pushes a red button, you need to go. And I'm asking y'all to go. Get it done. Start the brand. Start your lifestyle redesign. I'm out. Peace.